Welcome to the Learning Lab Player Edition. This is your safe space to ask questions about American Mah Jongg. You can ask questions about playing the game, the mechanics, the logistics, the rules. You could even ask about skills and strategies and even sportsmanship if you like. We're here to meet your needs. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the live stream chat at any time. I want to thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of gameplay with commentary on Charleston tells. Now, we're going to be playing online, so we're going to have limited tells, but I'll be sharing about tells that you can look for when you're playing in person. And I hope you'll find it helpful. Please say hi in the live stream chat to let me know you can hear me. My voice sounds a little funny to me. Does my voice sound funny? Oh, we have a new channel member, Sandy. Thank you for supporting MAHJLIFE. So blessed. I love that. I love that. So blessed 50. Woohoo! Lucy, hello. Jackie, welcome. All right. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask before we get started? Is there anything that is just needing to be known right now? Otherwise, we can just get started. I'll give you a minute to write your questions in the live stream chat. This is why we're here. We're here to answer questions. We do have a Facebook group. If you use Facebook, it's a private Facebook group and only vetted instructors are there to answer questions. There are other instructors there, but they're not supposed to answer questions about the rules. Only the admins are answering rules questions. Everybody can communicate about skills, strategies, and sportsmanship. But we also have mentors there to assist if anything looks a little misaligned. So it's a wonderful opportunity to ask questions that maybe you're hesitant to ask questions about in person or in other platforms. So please look for Learning Lab, #MAHJLIFE in Facebook, and you'll find it. There should also be a link in the video description below. This live stream was created to meet the needs of people who don't use Facebook, but we're here for everybody. So everyone is welcome. If you use Facebook, awesome, go check that out and enjoy this live stream. Okay, so we don't have any questions here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing about tells. Now, if you don't know, tells are cues that you can pick up from what happens at the table. And there's an umbrella over this because it's not just about what happens on the table with discards and exposures. It's also about the players. It's about each of your opponents' mannerisms, their behavior, their facial expressions, also called micro expressions. Sometimes you have to be very observant. And also their body language, the way they manipulate their tiles. All these things are tells. And you can observe tells throughout the game. There are some specific tells that I'd like to share about that occurred during the Charleston. And we'll be able to do a little bit of that when we play online. We're going to play online at I Love Maj. And we'll be able to do a little bit of tell interpretation, I guess you could say, when we do that. But when you're playing in person, you want to watch for tile manipulation, how people are arranging their tiles. Of course, your focus, your primary focus should be your own hand. But you also want to be outward looking. You want to look at what is happening at the table as well. So based on your experience with the game, focus on your hand and then begin to raise your head and look at the table. and do that more and more as you gain experience. Because for the first, I don't know, maybe let's say dozen times you play the game, you're probably going to be pretty focused on your own hand and the card. But after that, you should start looking up and watching what is happening at the table. So during the Charleston, people will you place their tiles in different areas. One of the things that you could watch for is when a player receives a pass, they will pick up one tile at a time and insert it where it belongs. If they don't want it, it'll stay on the table, or it'll just go immediately on the right side of their rack. So you can gain a little bit of information there. Any tile they insert is a keeper. So they're a little closer to narrowing in on their hand. One way that you can keep people from gathering intel on you is to be consistent with where you're putting incoming tiles. So when you get your incoming pass, put it on the left or on the right. That's what I do. I just put it right away on the right, and I leave them there. Now, sometimes I may not want any of those, but that's okay. I'm going to put them there anyway, because my opponents may have watched me do that, but then they'll start looking at their own hand, and then I can maybe manipulate tiles. So as long as you're consistent with wherever you put that those incoming tiles, eventually your opponents will place their attention elsewhere, and that's where you would put them where they belong. So usually what I do, put them on the right side of my rack, and then I immediately take the next 3 tiles that I don't want wherever they lie, and then I'll pass my next outgoing tiles, and then I'll do a little bit of arranging, because the focus won't be on those incoming tiles. So just think about consistency as far as where you place your tiles to control a little bit of intel if your opponents are watching. All right, so next, the next tell would be passing blind. If any player passes blind, that could indicate 2 things. One, they're in between and they don't want to make a decision. If you're in between, so I'm going to give the what is the tell, and then how you can avoid dealing with ramifications from that, and then we'll go on from there. So if someone passes blind, they're usually in between categories or hands. If this is you, if you find that you're in this dilemma where you don't want to give up tiles because you have equal opportunity, or maybe it's a little skewed, but you're not sure which way to go, so you're going to pass blind, it is best to make a decision for your strongest option and pass fully. First of all, if you pass fully, you're not going to send a red flag. Nobody's going to pay attention to that, because most people pass 3. When you pass less than 3, it's a red flag. So if you're in between, don't send up a red flag by passing blind. Instead, focus on your strongest option and pass fully. 3 tiles. Now, how to decide what is your strongest option? That's going to be an option where you have no gaps. A lot of times during the first left, you may have multiple ways you could go between a category or 2, or even between hands, but there may be gaps. If you have no gaps for both options, let's just bring it down to 2 to make it easy. So if you have 2 options and both have no gaps, look for the multiples. If one has multiples, 1 or more, and the other one has none, all singles, go with the option with multiples. You want to use most of your multiples. With American Mah Jongg, that is the way to play this game. 100% guaranteed. Target multiples. This is a game of multiples. If you look on the card, every single hand has pair pung kong, quint, and some kind of combination of those patterns, so those blocks. So if one of your options has multiples, go with the one with multiples. If one has singles, break it up and pass fully. Now let's say both have multiples. Let's say one has 2 and one has 1. Go with the one with most of your multiples and then break up the other. Sometimes that'll mean breaking up a pair, and that's okay. Incidentally, don't be thinking about joker bait during the Charleston. That's not when it's that is not when it will actually shackle you as opposed to help you, because joker bait is a joker tactic that isn't ideal for launching, or let's say chum the table with your joker bait. The timing isn't until the middle of the game, and you're in the beginning of the game. So that pair that you don't need is just going to shackle you. If you don't need it, break it up. If you don't have good tiles to pass, so if you mitigate risk, break it up. Otherwise, you could try to keep it. But the challenge with that is if you get an incoming pass of all keepers, you might be tempted to pass a pair. So if I have an unneeded pair during the Charleston, usually I break it up. If I'm not going to use it, of course. Okay, so now let's say that you stop or you pass blind, and that's going to throw out a red flag. That's one thing to consider. Do you want to risk throwing out a red flag? And then if you want to notice who else does it, and you want to remember that they passed blind, because it's a tell. So once you get your next incoming pass, then you're going to make the choice of continuing the Charleston. If somebody passed blind, there's a likelihood that they will stop the Charleston. So don't pass quickly. You want to wait until they either pass and you see that they're going forward, which is another tell. That means they didn't get keepers. So if they go forward, they didn't get what they wanted, which is fine. It's a tell. So if everybody continues to go, fine and good. We keep going right across. We go right across left, then left across right. So you want to watch who passes blind, and then, of course, who stops the Charleston. If somebody stops the Charleston, that's a huge red flag, huge tell right there. There are a couple of things, or 3 things actually, that could be happening there. One, they don't like the second round, and they just stop the Charleston as a habit, a choice. They just choose to stop the Charleston. That is not the way the game is intended to be played, but it is an option, and nobody should ever question why the Charleston is being stopped. Yeah, it's actually in the guidebook. So they may just not like doing the second Charleston. Some groups have even created a house rule where they do 1 round. I don't advise that, by the way. Just thought I'd share my opinion there. Okay, the other reason why someone would stop the Charleston is because they're in between categories or hands and they don't want to make the choice. Because let's say there's equal opportunity there. They just don't want to make the choice. Couple thoughts on that. Go back to the other justification of passing blind. If you're in between, go with the strength of your hand and continue. Don't stop the Charleston if you're in between. You're just delaying the inevitable. When East discards the first tile and your turn comes up and you pick, you're going to have to make a decision. So you're just delaying the inevitable by straddling. So you don't want to straddle too long, and it's best to not straddle at all, to just make a decision and focus on the strongest option. Which option has most of your multiples? Which option has no gaps? Which option has the greatest potential of completing before anybody else? That's what you want to look for. And the best practice is to continue into the second round. So going through to, or the third reason, let's do the third reason first of why someone will stop the Charleston. And this would be if they're close to winning a hand and they only have maybe 2 tiles to pass, or maybe even 1 or none. That's a huge red flag. You don't know which of the 3 it is. They could just not like the second round. They could be in between, but they could also be very close to completing a hand. So to make an informed decision based on just risk, you should anticipate that they're close to winning. And the reason I mention that is because when the Charleston is stopped, the next thing that happens is the optional across. If that player is close to a winning hand, don't give them more of an advantage by passing tiles. If they say they want 2, decline, because you could be giving them a hand from heaven. If you pass 2 tiles that they need and it completes their hand, the game's over. It's best to monitor, observe what happens during the Charleston. Did that person pass blind? After they pass blind, did they stop the Charleston? That would be a very good indicator that they have almost all keepers. So you got to be very careful with your decisions. So if you decide to cross paths with someone who stopped the Charleston, you then accept the risk. Sorry, my throat. And then you just move forward with whatever the outcome is from that decision. So let's say, though, that the Charleston continues and then somebody passes blind on the last right. That's another flag. That's a tell. Any red flag is a tell. So you want to just note that they pass blind. Typically, when someone passes blind in the last right, it's not because they're in between. It's because they're whittling out unwanted tiles. And they're getting close to having all keepers more times than not. Now, in the optional across, if somebody across from you passed blind, you may want to consider whether or not you want to do an optional with them. Because if they pass blind, that would be a tell that they're close to a winning hand. You might want to decline. It's not as big of a red flag as stopping the Charleston. Another red flag during the Charleston, or tell, a red flag and a tell are the same thing, synonymous. But another red flag in the Charleston is when players pass fewer than, or negotiate light. They ask for fewer than 3. If someone asks for 2, that's equitable to a blind pass. If somebody wants 1, that's a big red flag. Decline. If someone in the optional across wants 1 tile, decline. That is an indicator that they have mostly keepers, and you don't want to give them further advantage. So those are the Charleston tells. Passing blind, stopping the Charleston, light optional cross, and yeah, I guess those 3 plus tile tells what happens with the tiles during the Charleston. So I hope you found that helpful. Please let me know. Do you know of any other tells during the Charleston? Besides body language and micro expressions, tile tells, and then those 3, passing blind, stopping the Charleston, and a light optional across. Those are all tells that you can watch to figure out the status of someone's hand, how close they are to completing. And it's all estimation, guesstimation, but it's intel, and you can leverage it. Now, here's another thing that you can do. Once you gather that intel from the Charleston, going into the first pushed out wall, that second wall, if any of those players who threw out red flags make an exposure, they are likely a front runner. So you need to defend against them. You may even consider blocking them from the get-go and just watch their exposures and try to figure out what hand they're playing. They should be the number one player you watch. Anybody who makes an exposure with that second wall should be on your radar right away. People who are concealed can stay on the fray, but anyone who makes an exposure in that begin game should be on your radar, and watch what they are exposing and discarding. Watch how fast they pick. That would be speed. Watch how quickly they make a decision to expose, and a subsequent exposure. How long did it take them to go from one exposure to two? That is pace. You want to watch their speed and their pace, and then decide whether or not you have equal potential to them, and decide whether or not you want to block or push to win. Okay, Lucy says, in the optional, you may not pass fully because you have only risky tiles. Okay, that's an excellent point, and yes, I agree. If you don't have the strength in your hand to give away a risky pass, then you should mitigate the risk by holding back. Absolutely. That's a very good point. Thank you. I got to get a tissue. Hold on. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. I think I just still have this horrible cold. I've had it for a long stinking time. Jeez. Okay, so yeah, I love that, Lucy. Thank you. Okay, does anybody have any questions about Charleston Tells? Because we're going to go ahead and we're going to start playing. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I don't see any other comments or questions. You can keep them coming, though, while we play. No problem. We can always pause in between games. Okay, so let's see. I am going to share my screen. We're going to do that. Okay. All right. So now, since we talked about the Charleston, now when you play online, you can't see tells from your opponents, body language and facial expressions, but you can watch their discards and exposures. And when you play online at I Love Maj, only the most, let's say the last 4 discards, or maybe 8 if you have a good memory, can help you read hands. The exposures for sure, but maybe the last 8 discards, because otherwise you have to track who discarded which tile. 4 is easy. Unless somebody claims the tile, then it gets messed up. So at I Love Maj, the discards are in chronological order. So you can't use the discards to help identify what hand people are playing. But you can look at the discards to see what is available for yourself. So primarily it's going to be hand reading by exposures only when you play online at I Love Maj. Okay, so now we could do Charleston modeling. We could do 1 round if you want. I'm going to leave it up to the group who's here. If you want to do a Charleston modeling in the exercise room, put a 1. If you would rather go straight to gameplay with robots, put in bots. If you want me to play with bots, put bots. If you want to do a Charleston round, put a number 1 in the live stream chat. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and play with bots since I don't see anything. We're just going to go play with bots. Here we go. Uh-oh. Please don't tell me I got booted out. Wow. I don't know if you saw me that whole time, but I thought my browser was gonna crash. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start, and we're doing the first game. So we have East pair with a South, Red Dragon, 3-6-8 in BAMs, 5-6-8 in cracks, 2-4-6-8 in dots. If these were your tiles, which category would you focus on? I think the answer is pretty clear here. We have a lot of evens. Our pair is with East, but we have no West. When you have a pair of East, you either need many more wins or West, because there are a couple hands with East and West. Yeah, evens for sure. Wes said 1. Lucy said 1. We'll do a Charleston model. Well, we get to do Charleston here anyway, but we could do a round of Charleston next. Okay, so I would say evens here, or 5, 6, 7, 8. If we get a 7, we might be able to switch to consecutive run. So I would hold evens, and I would also hold the 8, the 8s in case 7s come in. So I would let the South 3 red go. Now, you might think, well, why not break up this pair? If you remember, I brought up joker bait during the Charleston is a shackle. It hinders you. This East, though, they're option tiles, because if we get a West, we may be able to play East and West with evens. And that's the third hand from the bottom under Winds and Dragons. Now, that is one hand, and I said the word if. Anytime you say if or hope, it's a long shot. So I'm keeping the East because we have a 5 and we have a South we can let go of. So we actually have a discard in here. If we get all keepers, let's say we get all evens, we can let the 5 go, break up the East, and then whittle out our keepers, because we're not going to be able to use them all probably. So here we go. Nope, no keepers, but look, we have a pung of East, and we do have 5, 3, 9. Excuse me. Now this 9, we might be able to use it, because if you look at our keepers right here, our keepers, we have 3 8s, or let's see, 3 6s, 3 8s, 1 2, and 1 4. So we are trending towards consecutive run 6 through 9. If we get even 1 7, I would consider switching. Now, if we get a 2 or 4, I would stick with evens. Either way, we can pass. So we don't have to make a choice. And I would break up the East because we have no West. You might also think, why not consider the quint? Second quint, wins, Kong of wins with 2 consecutive numbers in the same suit as quints. We have an 8, 9, but those are singles, and we have no jokers. I would not play a quint, not with these tiles. Maybe the next hand. Okay, here we go. Oh, interesting. We got a 9 bam. And we got a dragon. So we have Northeast Dragon. So what I'm seeing so far, 2 players gave us a wind, 1 player gave us a dragon, and a big number. We're at a place now where we have to make a decision, because we're in between. We're in between consecutive run, but we have a gap, no 7, or evens. We do have 2 clear discards though. So we only have to sacrifice 1 tile. So here, because the 9 bam is our pair, I would keep it. And I would actually think if we get a 3, we could switch to 3, 6, 9. That would use the like numbers with 6s. We'd have to let the 8s go. So I think what I would do here I would not pass an East. That passing 2 wins is almost as risky as passing like numbers. I know this is going to make some people cringe. Oh, I'm tempted to give up the 2. I mean, we do have no gaps for the concealed even hand. There's no gaps there. But boy, oh boy, is it weak. 2, 4, 6, 8 in dots, either 8s or 6s, we let the 9 go. But American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. So we should reassess and target the 9. So I'm going to let the 2 go. If that makes you cringe, hashtag cringe in the live stream chat. I am looking for a 3 or a 7 to justify that decision. And if evens come in, then we can just change our mind. It's our prerogative. Look at that. We got an 8 and a 2. Okay, so now we have a multiple with an 8. Now I would feel okay about letting the 9 go because we have a multiple to target. The 9 bam was our only target besides that predominant pattern that was super weak. Now we have strength in that predominant pattern, so we can let the 9 go. So now we have 3 tiles to pass. We can totally continue, and we're going to target evens. So we'll let the red, the East, and the 9 go. Okay, and we got a 3 East, North. Okay, so, and by the way, that a 3 did come in, still no 7. Oh, another 3. 3, 6, 9 would have been good, actually. North and South came in, but we have evens. So I would just pass 2. I don't think our hand is strong enough to pass 2 wins. Even though wins were going around, but somebody kept the East. I would not pass 2 wins. Okay, we got an 8. And we have East, South, pair, pair. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 dot pair, 6, 8 bam, 6, 8 crack, pair 8, 8 bam, 8 dot, pair, pair. I would consider playing the concealed hand. I would not pass 2 wins though. I think what I would do here, I think I'd let a 6 go and pass 2. South with a 6. We're not passing fully, but we're going to try to get another keeper in here, like an 8 crack, 2, 4, 6 in dots. We got a 2, which we gave up earlier. So we're back where we were before we made that decision to keep the 9 bam. So that's good. And we're East, so we have an extra tile. So I'm going to discard the South. We're going to discard the wins first. And as far as where the results here, I would say that we're a contender. We have 4 discards and we have a hand with no gaps. Now we do have weaknesses though. We need an 8 crack. We need a 4, 6 dot. Concealed evens. So we have a pair here, but I don't think anybody's playing wins. So I don't think that's going to be good joker bait, although no West came around. We had a pung of East and we let 1 go and someone kept it. That might actually be good joker bait. Let's keep it and see if East-West go down. Because we're going to have to get that all the way to 60 to 50 tiles remaining. Now, if that 8 bam is our tile, but we're playing concealed, so we can't call it. Yeah, even if we were to play the, let's see, the 6 hand down, we don't need an 8 bam. We would need that to be a pair. We could play the 6 hand down here. We'd have to throw away a pair of 8 dots, though. Okay, a 5 came in. Let's let the 9. We do have a 5 here, 5, 6, 7, 8, but probably that will go. Oh, here's the East. Nobody wanted it. So these will be discards, 100%. I'm going to keep that just because it's an even. Okay, there's a 2. Now we'll let the East go. So we have a 2-dot a pung. I would consider the 6th hand down. There's nothing we can do about it though, because we need 4-6 here. We need to Kong pung. There's the 8-dot, which not a problem for us. Here's a 7. So now we have a little bit of consecutive run coming in. 5-6 dot, 7-8 bam. 1 dot, 7 dot. Okay, we're going to let it go. Let's let this 5 go. Okay, so this might be useful there. The 6 can go and the 7 can go. So now we're down to 3 tiles. We have an extra 2. You know what we could do? Oh, we'd have to throw away a pair of 8s. For the 6th hand down, we're in between the 6th hand down and the concealed hand. Let's just see what comes in. Another joker. Okay, so we would pung here. This is the first 6 dot. We need 3 pair. We need the 8 crack to be a pair. We could pung 6. Let's ignore. Let's wait for a round or until another 6 goes down. If another 6 dot goes down, we should call it. Because if we play concealed, we're going to be in a tough spot. Okay, so here's a white dragon. We could maybe switch to the 2nd or 3rd hand down. The dragon hand. So we have all keepers right now. Yeah, that's not a keeper. Okay, there's a white dragon. We would need to Kong right now. And I would not, I don't think. Let's see, if we Kong, we'd have to use both of our jokers, and then we would not be able to act on the 4, and the 6 leaves us vulnerable. Plus we'd have to discard a 2 dot and break up that pung. I think I'd rather stick with the 6th hand down and the concealed hand and just let this go. Oh, 8 bam. Okay, now what does that mean? Concealed. Our concealed hand. We need 1 good pick and we'll be discarding this and be ready to win on a pair weight, which is weak. We need a 4.6 dot. That's what we need. We need a pair there. Okay, now if we played the, oh, this is a bummer. We'd have to Kong here. 2 dot pung, Kong 4. Ooh, risky. Goodness sake. 2-4. I think we should pass. We have a 4 crack Kong to the left. They could be doing 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2 suits. They actually there's a 6 crack out and a 2 crack. This is a tough choice. We have a pung of 8s. Let's pass. Okay, now what we need in here, we're leveraging the pung of 8s for the concealed hand. We need a 4-6 dot. Oh, wrong suit. Eh. Oh, come on now. We need a keeper. Uh-oh. Well, that's a pung for us if we play concealed, so we're okay here. Oh, man. Ooh, joker. Oh, we don't need any. Well, unless we switch our hand. If we switch to the 6th hand down, we will need jokers. Oh, shoot. We need 4-6 dot. There it is. Okay. We're ready on a 4 dot for the concealed even hand. Boy, we straddled between that 6th hand down. We gave up one opportunity to pung. No, we passed up 2, the 4 dot and the 6. But if another one were to have come down, I would have called and switched to the 6th hand down. But this one came in. So we need a 4 dot. Oh, look at that. So that goes here. Okay, pung, pung. Pung, pung, dragon. So they're doing 4, 5, 6 dragon. 5th hand down under consecutive run. 4, 5, 6 dragon. They're going to need jokers. Let's see. I don't see any 4 bams. They probably have their pair. They need a joker and 6 bams and flowers. I don't see any flowers out. Ooh, flowers are going to be super risky. Oh, goodness me. Pure hand. Uh-oh. 6 bam. They need this, I think. We're ready on a pure hand, though. I'm going for it. Oh my gosh, this player across from us got it. That was a surprise. I thought it was going to be the player on our right. Okay. Yeah, we don't need that. We're looking for a 4 dot. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. They had our 4 dot over here, ready on a pure hand. Dang it. Okay, so they got 2, 3, 4 crack. They did have the 2. I was thinking maybe they're doing 2, 4, 6, 8 for a moment, but then I saw the 6 and the 8. And then, of course, we got the 8s. But the player across from us had the 6 bams. The player on our right has a gap, no 6. And they kept our 4. So did this other player up here. But they actually are set. They're ready to Kong and pung. Let's see, wait. This joker, they're ready to win because you only need a pair for that chow. Oh, no. They need pung, Kong, Kong. So they are ready to win on a double weight. They need a flower or a 5 crack. And we are ready on a 4 dot. There was one more in the wall. And I think this player here would have discarded that. Okay, well, let's play again. Okay, what do we have this time? Oh, dragons. Okay, I like dragons. 5 bam pair. 5 bam pair. So I would target the 5 bam. And I would keep the 4. I would also keep the 6. Now with a flower, I definitely wouldn't pass flower. And I would keep the dragons. And I would probably keep the east. Maybe we could do east with dragons, but we could also maybe do a chow hand with dragons. We have 2 clear discards, so we need to let 1 tile go. I think we should let the 6 go. So we are either playing news with dragons or maybe the chow hand with dragons if we get 5s. We could maybe play like numbers, but that would be a huge long shot because we have no 5 crack, no 5 dot. So let's see what we get. No keepers, and somebody gave us like numbers, which is super risky, by the way. Absolutely risky. Okay, now here we have 2 clear discards. I personally don't pass like numbers. I think it's just as risky, maybe a little bit less risky than passing a pair. But I cringe just as hard passing a pair as I do with like numbers and vice versa. I really don't like passing like numbers. And I cringe when I get like numbers. Okay, we're going to target the multiple, so we're going to let the East go. Okay, we got like numbers again. That's crazy. And we have tiles we can pass. But you know what? I'm just kind of thinking we could maybe do like 3, 4, 5 or 4, 5, 6 dragon. Let one of the dragon. I don't want to let a dragon go, really. We could maybe even play a year hand. Let's let the red dragon go. Actually, no. Let's let the north go. The north without any other wins is useless. Okay, now we've got movement. We've got momentum. We're in good shape now. We could even keep the 1. 1, 3, 5 dragon, third hand down, or 3, 4, 5 dragon. Oh, that third hand down under odds. Or we could do the 5th hand down under consecutive run. We have tiles we can pass. We can let this red dragon go now. So we have tiles we can pass. Easy peasy. We're in between consecutive run and odds. No keepers, so we can pass. A little bit risky, but there's risk in every pass. No keepers. No keepers. Keeper. 1, 3, 5 dragon. Oh, we have a joker, a dragon here too. Okay, so we do have 1, 3, 5 dragon. 5 discards, so that means we're an underdog. Now we could still maybe play 3, 4, 5 dragon. I would say we're in between, so we're an underdog. We've got 3 clear discards. I would not consider a year hand because we have a pair of 1s. I think 1, 3, 5 dragon is ideal because 3, 4, 5 dragon, 5th hand down requires 2 pair, and we have singles for both. But 1, 3, 5 dragon, third hand down is a hand of least resistance. Any number of jokers in that hand. So there's very little risk. Okay, 1 dot, we don't need that. Oh, I kind of do want to keep these dragons. I just do. We have a chow in there. 3, 4, 5 dragon. We could play the second hand down under wins. That hand is beauty. Uh-oh, we need pung. We don't have our pairs though. I would not pung here because we don't have our, if you have multiple pairs, you need to have all but 1 in your hand when you commit with an exposure. Otherwise, you're going to paint yourself into a corner. We have 2 singles for 2 pair that we need. Therefore, we wait. We can't take the risk. We're too weak. Now we have the pair. So now if a 4 goes down, we can call. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're still in between because we could still do 3, 4, 5 dragon. I think at this point, since we have pair, lots of pairs, I would give up these dragons. I would definitely keep the flower though and the green because we could play 3, 4, 5 dragon with the flowers, or we could play 1, 3, 5 dragon without. So we're in pretty good shape. And I would not call that. No, that would be for, well, we can't. It's a pair for the 5th hand down. We don't need it for the odd hand. Oh, sometimes. Oh, Shelton, you're behind. Pull the red dot up. Go to the video margin, bottom margin, the footer, whatever. Pull that red dot forward. Oh, we got the green. Okay, now we're going to need to make a decision here. I think 135 dragon looks good. 3 multiples. Remember when I was saying go with the one with most of your multiples? 3, 4, 5 dragon uses 3 of the 4. 135 dragon uses all 4. So that's how you make the choice. Now, if we draw a 4 bam, we're back to needing a choice. So we have 1 clear discard. 2 went down already. Oh, that's a good point, Wes. Thank you. Oh, that's interesting. 1 through 5. Okay, we're probably that 2 is a discard. Okay, now here, this is where we need to make a choice. Although for either hand, we need a Kong. So we can Kong either way. Okay, so we're in between 135 dragon or 345 dragon. If we get a flower, I'd play the consecutive hand. If we get a 1 or 3, obviously we would play little odds. Oh, bummer. We got pretty close, but we were in between, so we were an underdog. Although, if we were, let's see, I think we were a front runner. We were just in between, but even if you count our discards, we have only 2 discards. If we played 3, 4, 5 dragon, if we played 1, 3, 5 dragon, we had only 2 discards. So we were a front runner. They just got there faster. All right, let's play again. Ooh, look at all that red. So let's see, we have a wide spread. This is when you have no multiples. We have a flower east-west, 1, 2 in bams, 1, 4, 6, 8, 9 in cracks, 5, 7 in dots. I like to count our like numbers to see if it reveals a pattern. In this case, we have 2 1s, no 3. We do have 2, 4, 6, 8 represented, not gelling though, but we have an east-west. So I probably would do evens and see if east-west comes in. I don't really care for that option though, because it would require us to pick a hand right away. And I prefer not to do that. The other thing we could do is keep the consecutive tiles, because we do have 6, 7, 8, 9 here. So we could pass, let's say 1, 5, 2 clear discards. We have to let something go already. I think I would probably let the 9 go. Keep the 1 crack and pass the 1 bam. 1 of each suit. Wow, that's super risky. Oh my, they might as well have passed us a pung. Look at that. We're gonna play a wind hand. Okay, now we need to break out these. I don't wanna have all these in here. I think what I'm gonna do is put a 4 out there, because then we can do 2, 7, 6 next. This is a little bit risky, but I'm thinking a pass ahead. Okay, now I would keep the 2 and the dragon, this 2 even, but we have like numbers. I would not pass like numbers. So I'm thinking year hand or news with dragons concealed. So I would let probably a 2 go, and really doesn't matter which one. Okay, we've got tiles we can pass. 149, 147, that's fine. Okay, 9, 4. I guess the 8. I think it's 6 1/2 dozen the other here. Okay, the 2 came back, but we have 2 clear discards. I would let the 2 go. Although I would let this 2 bam go. The 2 dot keeps going around. Maybe another 2 will show up and we could maybe get closer to a year hand. Okay, no, not so much. But look, 2 4 6 8 came in. I'd let it go though. So now what would we pass? I would not pass 3. I don't think. I think I would do, we could maybe do 1 6 8. I would want to pass fully. I want to see if we can get another wind or dragon. Bummer. All right, we're an underdog. We have 6 discards probably. We could maybe play the 3rd hand down under winds. Either way, we have 6 discards. So we're an underdog. Oh, flower. Okay, so we still are an underdog. We have 5 discards. I would focus on the 3rd hand down under winds. Okay, so let's let the year tile go. Okay, year tile. Year tile. Nobody wanted the 6. Nobody wanted the 6 and then they took it. Okay, we got a keeper. We have our pairs. Oh yeah, I would play that hand for sure. 3rd hand down. We have 4 discards. We're a contender now. We're at 75 tiles remaining, so we just entered the middle game. We need to pung, and I would because it's pure. And now we discard and we'll be a front runner. We're going to let the dragon go. We need west-south. We can use jokers. Oh, year tile. Okay, here. We could pung. It would use our only joker, of course. This is the first west. No other winds are out. Somebody else could be playing winds. Therefore, I would take it. Let's see who takes it. Okay, nobody. Somebody might be playing news concealed, but of course, maybe we're the ones with the wins, which would be really good. We don't want anybody else playing wins. We have good discards here. I don't think this 4 crack. I thought I saw, yeah, the 4 crack did go down right here. Okay, this player on the right is doing a 3-6-9er. So 3-6 dot and then 9 bam or 9 crack, probably 9 crack. I don't see any 9 cracks, but I see 2 9 dots or 9 bams, 9 cracks. So they're playing the second option. Uh-oh. Okay, they're playing 5-7-9 dragon, third hand down under odds. They need 5-9. And I don't see any of either out. We're not ready for that. We're going to need a joker. Oh, shoot. There they have their 9 cards. Oh my gosh, ready to win. There's the player with wins. They're playing News with Dragons gap hand. They didn't have any other dragon, but they have our West. All right, that's going to do it for this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found the Charleston Tells helpful. If you missed the first part of this video, we talked about tells during the Charleston. So please watch that. And then if you have tells that I didn't mention during the Charleston, please write them in the comment section below the video, because I'd love to keep track of tells. And I'm always learning something new. And so when people share, you can learn from them. You know, share the wealth, gather up jewels of knowledge, adopt strategies, tactics, tells, all those sorts of things. It'll make us all better players. That's why I do this. So you're welcome. Thank you very much for being here. Also, moderators, thank you so much for helping monitor the chat today. We'll be back again tomorrow for the members only live streams. And then the instructor edition will be on Thursday. And of course, we'll be back for Simply Social Let's Play live stream on Friday and more Beat the Pro. So we'll see you again tomorrow. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.